Haley and this is Taya, and welcome to Haley and Taya Rip Supernatural and Start Over, and also sometimes talk about other stuff, a podcast.
Also known as HATRUSA. I almost said Supernatural again.
I love it.
When we start these episodes, I'm always looking at the wiki page, and the very first thing is series, Supernatural. Anyway, today we're talking about Dead Man's Blood, which is season 1, episode 20, which originally aired on April 20th, 2006, and was written by Catherine Humphreys and John Shiban. Yeah.
Shebang! I think he should change his name to that.
Yeah, that would be good. Before we start, 2 important updates that are the reason we didn't do an episode last week. 1, I got my second COVID shot on last Thursday, so I died a little.
2, Taya's graduated, bitches!
Well, I haven't officially graduated yet. I graduate officially over Zoom on the 22nd.
But they've graduated, bitches!
Yeah, I finished my last class on Sunday, and my brain was melting out of my ears. I had the brain of a fried egg, so I could not supernatural, as I'm sure you understand. But it's okay. I honestly probably could have done this episode anyway, because it was as boring as a box of rocks.
Yeah, I was zoned out for most of it. Missed a lot
Haley
of
was, not paying attention.
Yeah,
I was eating Mike and Ike's.
Typically, I can, pay pretty good attention to these, even if I'm not paying full attention. I'm still paying, some attention. But this
At least
time,
you weren't painting a tree.
Yeah,
that's probably our low point.
But even when I was painting the tree, I was paying more attention.
There was a point where Sam and John, spoiler alert, John's here, Jesus Christ. Sam and John were talking, and, Sam mentioned something from earlier in the conversation, and Haley was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh boy.
Well, for the record, we're gonna get to one of my comments in my notes, which is really gonna, it's really gonna explain why I zoned out, why I didn't click. But anyway, super quick summary is going to be super quick because...
Yeah.
Okay, we're in a bar. Man notices vampires because he knows what they are like. He leaves, he gets killed by the vampires with a gun that looks special, but we don't know it's special
they
yet.
just eat him and they take the gun.
But she said that she killed him with it.
No, she didn't. They just ate him.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they straight up just ate him. Because it cuts to it on the floor.
But she's... Okay. Well, then I lied.
He tried to fill it, to shoot it, and he couldn't.
This sucks.
Keep going.
Okay, gun. Looks important, don't know what it is. Anyway, Sam and Dean are, in a little breakfast place, which led Taya and I to reminiscing about a breakfast nook we went to one time, and I found it. It's literally called the Breakfast Nook in Connecticut. It's great. But we find a murder victim or something, and do we recognize the name of the murder victim?
Yes, it's in John's journal.
It's in John's journal, so then we find a letter, and John's there, he, scares them, and then John's like, it's vampires, and Dean's like, that's silly, Dad. And then they go to sleep, and the vampire's nest is there, and we have some, vampire makeouts, and they kill the man, they turn the girl. Oh, also they kidnapped, they stole some people from a car. And it's a couple, and they kill the man, turn the girl. The Winchesters find them. The Winchesters kill them, but not really all of them. Two of them escape.
They break in. They try to get the vampires and fail.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have to go get the dead man's blood.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go and they set a trap. They grab 2 of them, kill 1. Then they are getting chased around by the vampires. Dean and Sam clean out the nest. Then 2 of them get away after John shoots the alpha in the head with the gun.
Right. Cool.
And that's the episode. And there's some emotional conversations and arguments. And did we actually say what the gun was?
No. Also, somewhere in there, John explains to Sam and Dean that the gun is the Colt, which is this legendary gun that kills anything. And Dean is like supernatural anything? And I'm like, yes, Dean, that's the name of the show, stupid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They want the gun because it can kill Azazel, which we don't know the name of the demon yet, but we do.
It's just
because
the
we're
demon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also there's like the emotional moments or John being like, "This is why I'm the way I am," and Sam and Dean being like, "Okay, Dad, okay, sir," and that's it.
Yeah, to be fair, some of that wasn't even summary. That was just us talking. But you can see why this episode is really quick to summarize because, once again, and I can't remember what the last episode that was like this was. It was Shadow. It was Shadow. Again, another John focused episode where, like, the actual monsters of the episode are, like, really not the purpose. They're just there. And you're like, okay, but you guys thought vampires were extinct and you found a whole nest of them. That should be a bigger deal in the hunter community, but instead we're going to talk about your emotional issues, do a little bit more manipulation, and talk about this gun, but, like, go off.
I dropped my putty container.
I'm sorry.
Now
Would
I
you
just
like
have
to
to
do your
hold-
notes?
Now I just have to hold this putty in my hand.
I mean, you could pick up the container.
I don't know where it is. I'm looking. Oh, I found it.
I'm gonna keep this in just to keep things interesting, so our listeners don't fall asleep.
Okay, so my notes. Wait. Okay, yeah, my notes. New plot during intro.
Woohoo!
Crazy. Vampire kind of sexy though. She leather corset jacket. She looked kind of sexy in the beginning, but then she just looked like I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Hey Dad, go away. Hi kids, I was stalking you. That's not an exact quote, but basically that's how John introduces himself this episode. It was the gun. When the cult was first shown, Taya was like, "That's not gun, is it?" And I was
you
like,
said
"No, it can't." I was like, "No, it can't be. Not yet." It was the gun.
It's the gun.
They thought vampires were extinct, which is funny because I'm pretty sure they show up at least 5 times. Because I'm pretty sure vampires show up at least 5 times during the series.
We'll keep a count. This is one.
The teeth. Oh, wait. Oh, that says O. Oh, the teeth. There's a CG, like when the teeth, they show the teeth, like, grow in TM.
Yeah.
And,
it says instead of fangs, it's a second set that come down from the gums. And the CGI doesn't look good. They look very fake, but it's made worse by the fact that, so you see them come down, and then there's a cut to the face of the person who's above the vampire because he was, like, laying in the road pretending to be dead or something, and, like, the guy got out of the car. This is how those people got kidnapped. But it cuts from the CG teeth coming down to the expression of the man's face, and when it cuts back, the vampire now has prosthetic teeth in. And it's a very clear change because they now have dimension and they're actually color matched to his teeth, where the CGI was a lot like brownish yellower, like there was a tint to them. And it was just like supernatural CGI, very bad.
Yeah.
It was a tiny moment, but it bothered me a lot.
It was bad. The show is bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why does Dean think vamps are so funny? I would love to know why Dean Winchester thinks that vampires are, like, so funny. Out of all of the things, like, out of all the supernatural things that he has encountered during his 25 years of living, vampires are the ones that he thinks is funny. Love it.
Yeah.
Sam is driving. So fun. Then I wrote, kill him, bitch, damn. Which is when the girl her name is Jenny, the girl who they turn into a vampire, the Luther, the, like, alpha man of the thing, gives her some beer, like...
Nope, that wasn't Luther. Her. It was some random dude. Luther wasn't there.
Oh, that was the random dude? Oh,
that was the random dude. Yet?
Okay, so one of the random dudes from the vampire cult was, like, feeding her beer, like, giving it to her. And she spits it into his face after. It was good. Vamp couple swallowing each other is my next note. Because as soon as Luther comes in, the girl, Kate, like, runs over to him, jumps into his arms, like, legs around his waist, starts making out with him. And I was like, oh, that was very fast. Anyway.
It was a very lot. Even though we later learned vampires mate for life, it was still a very lot.
Yeah, and this is my next note, which I said earlier when I mentioned she looked kind of sexy in the first scene, but in the second scene with Miss Vampire, she looks like a 40-year-old playing a high schooler. This continued until the end of the episode.
Yeah.
We think it might have been the outfits and the weird makeup they had her. Like, they had her in this makeup that Taya described was goth, but not all the way.
Yeah.
It's like this smoky, like, almost raccoon eyeshadow, but they didn't put too much.
They didn't commit to the look, you know?
Yeah. so it didn't work. So if you want to make her look like a goth punk, do it. Like,
yeah, commit.
even
Like,
one of, yes.
I was gonna say her first outfit with like kind of like the leather corset, definitely like a goth, and the rest of the vampires all look pretty goth, punk,
Right.
punk rock, but she had like a lot of looks that were just like jeans and like
Do you remember the monkey,
shirt.
monkey brand? Do you remember the monkey brand from elementary school?
No,
It was like the little monkeys on it.
No, but I can imagine.
Hold on, 2000s monkey brand.
Great, good use of our time.
Bobby Jack.
Bobby Jack.
Hold on.
Okay.
This.
Are you sending it to me?
This monkey, yeah.
Oh yes.
I imagine her wearing Bobby Jack clothing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Costuming department needed to do better on this one. This was a miss.
It was a miss. So, this is a really good one. She wears this shirt.
You know our listeners can't see this, right?
We can just post it on Twitter or something.
You can post it.
Okay. We love that John Winchester manipulation, and then I drew a long smiley face next to it.
Yeah.
Specifically, the line that is... Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm backtracking for a second. I'll go back to that in a minute. I was gonna say, to commit to the full punk rock look, there's this one vampire who's, like, got, like, a weird, like, cut-off, like, denim jacket that's, like, dark and has patches on it. Mm-hmm. But he has short hair. And, like, if you want to commit, fucking give the man a mohawk wig. Like, make him look better. Make him look more punk rock. You can't just give him that haircut and expect me to think he's punk. It's not working. Anyway, John Winchester manipulation. What happened is the line I wrote that for was, John was talking, Sam was like, you ostracized me, and John was like, actually, you left. Your brother and I needed you. And he, like, specifically put Dean first, knowing that Sam cares more about Dean than he does about John. Yeah.
Yikes.
So, we don't need it, John. Piss off. Is this a vampire harem? Is my next note. Because when they turn the new vampire, he says, like, welcome home, baby.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this a vampire harem?
But then John says they mate for life, so then it was just like weird.
Right. So I don't know what's going on there. Did he say baby? Like,
yeah, he said
not.
Yeah.
The not relationship way? No.
It was just
sure didn't.
I did not like.
It was not good. My next note is vampires smell? ? Smiley face. Which I got scolded by Taya because Taya was like, yeah, it happens in Twilight too. And I was like, okay, fine, you're right. I remember when Laurent or whatever, I think his name's Laurent, was like, I smell you. I know your smell.
Oh, Laurent. Sorry.
And
James. No, because Laurent is the other one who is with James. It's James and Victoria and then Laurent.
Yeah, is Laurent's the one who's like, James has your scent.
Yes, but James is the tracker.
Yes, but Laurent.
I hate that we know this.
I love that we know this. Anyway, here's my note that explains why I didn't know what John was saying. While he was talking, I wrote the note, John, your apology is going in one ear and out the other over here. So I wrote that quite literally because I did not absorb a word he was saying. I know he was talking
very
about...
clearly.
I know he was talking about at some point he became their drill sergeant.
Yes.
And that's about all I remember from that conversation.
Basically, all that conversation was... I forget how it started, because I also was kind of zoning, because, like, I can only take so many of these conversations between between Sam and John, but... Sam was like, why did you get, like, because John was talking about how he used to put money, like $100 every period of time into a bank account for Sam and I presume Dean's, but I missed it, college fund. I forget who he said, just a college fund. Mm-hmm. And that this was never the life that he wanted for them. So Sam asks him, like, well, then why did you get so mad at me when I tried to leave? And he being John goes into this whole long monologue about, like, when your mother died, I got so worried about, like, losing you guys, so at some point I stopped being your father.
Almost killed me.
Yeah, so, like, at some point I stopped becoming your father and became your drill sergeant, and when you went away to school, my first thought was he's going to be alone, without anyone to protect him. And lots and lots of bad things there, especially since John had been leaving them alone, as we know from
literally since the moment
episode?
Mary died, I think.
Yeah, since Something Wicked. We know that they were being left alone when Dean was like maybe 11 at most. So like that's not protection. And it was also super manipulative. And Sam just in this episode goes wildly back and forth between how he feels about John, which I think is a little valid, but like this season, you can just like, it's a little frustrating how the writers handle how Sam feels about John, because it's like, there's never any like slower changes between how he's feeling. It's just rapid shifts, which obviously like it's an unhealthy, manipulative, and abusive relationship. That's fine. But it would be nice that if some of the time it was more neutral, or like we were seeing a slow progression. And so when like moments happen where he does snap to like being super sympathetic or being super angry, it hits a little harder, because he quite literally just goes back and forth from being really angry at John and being like I'm sorry, I need to apologize, I'm the worst. Yeah, that's my rant.
Hey, I know we said we'd stay super on topic for this episode, but I think we're doing pretty okay on time.
Uh-huh.
I just got recommended on Facebook.com because, yeah, I might have opened a Facebook tab on accident, on purpose, on accident, because that just happens sometimes. And I just got recommended a Helen Keller Barbie doll.
Huh.
An official, like, Barbie is now selling a Helen Keller Barbie doll. So, in case anybody was curious.
If anyone wanted to buy one, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants to buy a Helen Keller Barbie doll, it's $29.88. Barbie is selling it on Facebook.
Well, presumably they're also selling it on their site and not just Facebook.
Well, I just clicked the link and it brought me to Walmart.
Anyway, back on topic. Supernatural.
My next note is they said the title of the episode, smiley face. I drew a lot of smiley faces next to my notes.
Yeah, you really did.
This is the last one. I said a lot, but there's only 3. They said the title of the episode, so you can shut the episode off at that point. They like whip it out. They're like, dead man's blood is like poison to you guys, and I was like, wow, you never said this before this moment.
Yeah, we might be wrong on that one because we were pretty zoned for parts of this episode.
I'm gonna look. I'm looking.
Are you looking at a transcript though, or are you just looking at the page?
I'm not looking at a transcript, but usually the wiki is pretty good about it.
You say that, but they were wrong about the goddamn tarot card. I'm sorry to anyone who works on the wiki who listens to this. I'm just still annoyed.
They super apparently did.
Oh. But, like, did they mention it, or did they just put that in, like,
well, it says John has an alternative plan and orders Dean to a funeral home to obtain dead man's blood.
He doesn't say that. Okay, to be fair, I remember him saying, because they were like, wait, they got our scent. And he's like, yeah, they'll have your scent. It's like the rest of your lives. And they were like, so what do we do now? And he says, you go to a funeral home, and then it cuts to him and Sam talking about the college
so they didn't talk about the blood.
They didn't explicitly say it was that he was going for dead man's blood, but I don't know if earlier when he was talking about what weaknesses vampires have, because he was like, you can't.
Well, it says here that he tells them they can only be killed by beheading.
Yeah, so I don't think it's mentioned, and then they just shoot him with an arrow, and the vampires are like, that doesn't even, like, sting, and he's like, coated in dead man's blood, and you're just like,
and then she passes out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
is that your last note?
No, I have a couple more.
Okay, cool.
Vampires mate for life, #romance. Dean fights back, but not entirely, because he is a sorely broken man, is the exact note that I have written.
Oh my god.
Which is, I feel like, an extreme understatement, but...
Oh, yeah.
Then I have, John, there's a little bit of glass in your mouth, because so John gets, like, thrown into the car by a vampire, and the window shatters, and, like, you see him roll off the window, and the glass, like, goes onto him, and a little piece of the fake glass lands in his mouth, like, right on his lip.
Yep.
And it's there for the whole scene.
It just really bothered Haley.
Like, it's really funny. I just thought it was really funny. My second to last note is, every time a Winchester brother calls John Sir, I die.
Yeah.
And then my final note is more of a summary than a note. I wrote, the only purpose of this episode is to, colon, 1, period, parenthesis, set up a cult, 2, period, parenthesis, show that the Winchesters work better as a family. Those are the only 2 plot points of this episode, and they had to stretch it out into 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I'd argue that, like, even though they argue that the Winchesters are better as a family, because, like, that's the conclusion, because John was like, you guys are gonna clean out the nest and then go leave, and I'll handle the rest of them, and he gets fucked up, and the boys come in and they fix it. It's like, yeah, but John is gonna die in, like, 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, but yeah, there's not much substance here. It's supposed to be an emotional episode. The cult will be incredibly important moving forward. So it's really a setup for that and more John and Sam stuff. But like, if you don't care about John's side of things and you're just siding with Sam, it's just frustrating because you're like, I don't want to hear your bullshit. You know, I don't want to hear it. I forget what we ended up calling this.
Dead Man's Blood?
No, my section, dumbass.
Oh! This is Taya's lore library, folks.
Okay, there we go. Okay, Taya's lore library. This is going to be super brief, but too long didn't read. I don't really like their vampires. Maybe when they come back, they'll be more interesting, because like Haley said, they do come back a couple more times at least. But it's like, a cross won't hurt them, which honestly, that one I'm fine with because it's like so Christian. Like, I'm always interested in vampires in other cultures too. Like, if a vampire, like, why would a cross hurt all vampires? You know what I mean, right? So that one's not a big deal, but like, sunlight doesn't hurt them. A stake to the heart doesn't hurt them. Like, sunlight doesn't even, like, mildly burn them or make them spark. Like, there's no inconvenience. Like, it's like, they just, like, they're, like, nocturnal. That's it. Like, right. They can go out in the sun and nothing happens. Like, and Dead Man's Blood, like, kind of bothers them, but only for, like, a little bit. Like, they can't get hurt if they get stabbed with anything and blah, blah. Like, literally all you have is beheading and the Colt's gun, and it's just, it's like, there's not enough weaknesses here, but there's also not really much power. Like, they can scent track really well, and they're strong.
Right.
And they got weird teeth. And it's just like, like, to be fair, maybe I'm a little bit too into Dracula. But, like, in that, like, he, like, can manipulate weather. He can turn into a wolf. That's something people don't talk about. He can turn into a bat. He can turn into, like, dust on moonbeams. He needs to have, like, boxes of earth with him from his home country. If you put a rose on his coffin, like, he can't get out. Like, garlic, obviously. I don't even think they mentioned garlic in this episode. So it's just like, their lore is just so boring. It's basically like everything you know about vampires is wrong. They're just good at smelling, good at throwing, and drink blood. And you must cut head off. Like, I saw a few people in the IMBD section be like, oh, it was an interesting twist on vampires. And as someone who's read a good amount of vampire stuff just for kicks and to learn more about the genre so I can write about vampires, I found them like not interesting, but to be fair, they're really not the point of the episode, but you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a poll on Twitter really quick.
For our 20 followers.
Oh, were you done?
Oh, I was done, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was just complaining about. Did you make the poll?
I'm about to.
Okay, go nuts.
As we speak. Why can't I make the poll, like, infinite?
Oh, yeah, it's only... Just make it as long as you can.
Only get 7 days. Okay, I made it. The poll is who did vampires better, Supernatural or Twilight?
Oh my god.
Anyway, cool. So that's Taya's lore, and now I bring you to crack shipping. My crack shipping for today was inspired by Taya, because when John, Dean is like, how do you know him, or whatever, or like, why did you stop talking, and John's like, well, we had a falling out, and Taya was like, oh, so they were boyfriends.
I was like, oh no, they had a breakup. They had a bad breakup.
My crack shipping is John and Danny, But also I don't think that John is gay. I don't think he could be gay even a little bit. He's far too homophobic.
But that's why it's a
that.
crack ship. This is one of
That's
our
why it's a
true
crack
ships. Kind of like Siobhan, we are pulling this one out of nowhere. Like, this doesn't make sense. This wouldn't work. This man is heterosexual through and through. That's why it's a crack ship.
Right. So, yeah, there's no way for this to work, but if it did, there's no way that it would. So I was trying to on the fly think of a way that it could have worked.
Well, they broke up and didn't talk for years anyway in this scenario, so it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't work.
Right. So then the brought to you by the section. I don't remember who went first last time. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, one sec. Sorry, I was writing a message to someone.
That's okay.
That's how not tuned in I am. So again, as usual, not sure if these songs actually showed up in the episode, but I'm going with Blood Drops Keep Falling on My Face by Christopher Lynette. Because I think that's just a good name.
I love it. Mine is Everybody There Was Drinking Martinis But Me. A very long song title. And also it's by Hillbilly Hellcats. There's multiple reasons I picked this as my brought to you by. Number 1, the title is long and I think that's funny. Number 2, the artist sounds funny to me. Number 3, none of them were drinking martinis. Fuck!
What I really like about this episode's music, if you're looking on it at Tune Finder, is you have a lot of long titles. You have Everybody There Was Drinking Martinis But Me, Searching from the Truth, parenthesis, as heard in Prison Break, close parenthesis, and you also have Blood Drops Keep Falling on My Face, and it's like, why are these all so long? Calm down.
Fave Wiki, I will go first,
okay.
And then you can go second, because we're gonna flip it. That's what's happening.
Oh yeah.
My favorite Wikipedia page, my favorite thing on the wiki, I had to struggle with it this time. But my favorite, I decided to make a quote from my notes that was also on the Wikipedia page. It is Dean saying, "I usually draw the line at necrophilia." Thank you, Dean Winchester.
For context, that's when the main vampire chick is like, we could have some fun or something after she like grabs him and like lifts him off the ground. Mm-hmm. That's the context. Mine is stupid because there's nothing fun about this episode. That might be mean, but I didn't like this episode.
No, it's not mean at all.
But my favorite thing on the wiki is that it aired on 420.
I was gonna use that originally, but I decided against it, so I'm so glad I left that open for you.
I wouldn't have had anything else because I just don't care. I don't care. So are you gonna rate it?
Yeah, my rating is 1 out of 10.
Is that the lowest?
No, the lowest? I went back to look.
What's Bugs?
What's Bugs? I wasn't rating during Bugs.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. I also wasn't taking notes during Bugs, I don't think.
Damn. We've really leveled up. We've really leveled up.
Oh, wait, I was taking notes during Bugs. Yeah, I didn't rate Bugs. I started rating during Asylum. And my lowest rated one was, as of right now, was The Benders, which I rated 0.7.
Yeah, that one sucked too.
So this one gets a little bit more.
Yeah, this one on IMDb, I think I messed that up, is an 8.5 out of 10, which puts it... Are there any other 8.5s on this page? It puts it on the same level
8.5?
Yeah. It puts it on the same level as Asylum, which we thought Asylum was boring as fuck, so...
Yeah, that had a 4 for me.
It puts it right above Hell House, but right below Something Wicked.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tay, I want to do your talk?
Yes. Thank you so much for listening to this, incredibly short episode of HATRUSA. This is going to be a really short one once I edit it down. We appreciate all your support, especially since we're getting so close to the end of this season. If you haven't, you should follow us on all social media that we are present on. We are HATRUSA everywhere because no one else wants that acronym. Thank God. We are also available on all pod sites, and if we are not available on the one you use, let us know, and we will do our best to get up there. You should like, comment, subscribe. You should tweet at us. You should send us Tumblr asks. You should tag us in things. You should send us curious cats. And you should also vote in Haley's poll about who did vampires better, because we have to know. We really have to know.
Yeah, we have a whole week for that, so please.
We have a whole week. So, well, we won't after this, when this recording goes up, we'll have less than a week. So, get on that.
5 days.
Get on that, yeah. And also, please share with any friends or family that you think might like this show. You do not have to have seen Supernatural to watch it, because obviously we summarize the whole thing and then tell you how it could be better. And we also try to cut out the gross parts. There were a few parts of this episode we did not mention.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. I did want to say that when we hit 50 followers on Spotify, and specifically Spotify because that's the one we can track the best, we are going to be opening our Patreon, where we haven't decided a rate yet, but we're going to be posting all of our commentary on each episode, so you can listen to our commentary either alone or while watching Supernatural. It's up to you, really. You can do whatever the hell you want with it. And possibly other things that we haven't decided. Haley, why are you laughing? I might cut that out because it's so completely off topic. Anyway.
Hey, Taya!
Wait, hold on. I have something very important to say.
Oh my god, what?
This is the thing I didn't tell you about that I said I was going to tell you about. Do you remember it?
No.
Because Sarah, our good, lovely friend Sarah, who made our podcast art and occasionally edits if I am under duress, sent me a fanfic that was a crossover between iCarly, Supernatural, and Psych. Now, that one currently only has one chapter. But there is a prequel series where Spencer and Sam were exes.
Sam Winchester?
Yes, Sam Winchester. They went to school together. And also, a correction, at some point I said that Sam got accepted to Stanford. He didn't. He went to Stanford for undergrad, and they were celebrating him getting like a 170 whatever on the LSATs.
I was right?
You were right, yes. Because him and Spencer talk about going to Stanford together. But anyway, I think I should, if we hit like 25 followers as a treat, I'm just going to do a mini episode where I talk about that fanfic, because it was...
Oh my god.
Haley, when I say it was unfairly in character...
Oh my god.
Maybe what Supernatural needed was a little more iCarly.
When you were sending me things about, like, screenshots of that, I thought they were saying that we sounded like iCarly.
No.
And I was very confused.
I was shocked at how good it was. So, if for whatever weird, if somehow, in some strange coincidence, of our, like, 10 listeners, you are the writer of that crossover series, you are magnificent. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Haley, ask away.
Well, hold on, now I have to say something.
Okay.
In honor of Dear Evan Hansen,
Oh my
the
god.
movie trailer coming out today, please read my Dear Evan Hansen fanfic from 2017, Reinvention by a Sparkle Girl.
This is really cringe. I have control to cut that out, but I think I'm just gonna let you be cringe.
Please jack off my ego from 4 years ago. Hey, Taya.
Hey, Haley.
Remember Mr. Jim Murphy?
Am I supposed to?
We haven't met him yet, but he was mentioned. But your silence spoke 1,000 words. So we'll catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.